Let me read you a couple comments
From what?
real quick. So it's from a YouTube video, a Graham Stephen
Okay.
YouTube video.
I like Graham sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. This is on kind of what we were talking about earlier. So Bitcoin doesn't need any action to boost the price. It's a unique coin, as well as the mothership of cryptocurrency, which is considered as digital gold, and is used as an asset to store for big investors. So as long as the digital world exists,
It's a storage value.
Bitcoin will continue to be king.
Bitcoin is king because it's
Right.
It's a storage of value.
Right. So it's essentially what he's saying. And I think
gold.
it's the gold standard of digital
But that's
currency.
what gold is. Gold isn't an investment you put your money in to make millions of dollars, and neither is Bitcoin. When Bitcoin gets to where it needs to be, it's going to hold its value very well.
Yeah.
It's not going to go up 30%, down 30%, but it needs to get to a certain level. It needs to have institutions investing in it. It will be a storage of value.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that puts it extremely
I mean,
well.
I own Bitcoin.
Yeah. I think a lot of people should. Like, I think it's but I mean, always diversify.
Yeah.
But,
I own XRP too.
Here's a comment. Using currency as a weapon should be one of the important reasons for de-dollarization.
Yes, agreed.
We talked about that. America is currently plagued by the hydra-headed evil duo of inflation and recession. The worst part about this recession is that consumers are racking up credit cards. In April alone, credit card debt went up 20%, while rates have doubled in a year. Inflation is so high that consumers are literally taking out debt for basic life necessities. The collapse has begun.
I wonder what they mean by the collapse has begun.
They mean that how do you get out of it?
Well, inflation is going to go down.
Right. And interest rates will go down eventually.
It's cycles. It all goes in cycles. That's why I'm not too concerned about the U.S. us losing the reserve currency for the U.S. dollar being the reserve currency. I'm not too concerned about it. I do think that we need to. The debt ceiling is an issue. The debt is an issue. We need to figure out how to start paying off these trillions of dollars. We need to really look at what are we spending our money on. So, yeah.
I like this comment too. It's not worrying about the U.S. dollar no longer being the global reserve currency. It's acknowledging the possibility and accounting for it in the way we diversify our savings and investments, and the way that we educate and prepare our children who will be living in the affected generations.
They will be, but we can fix it.
Yeah.
Our generation can fix this. It's not the people who are currently there. We need to get better leaders in office. We can fix this situation. All these old people... It's time to retire. Daddy's home.
I mean, that's something I've been saying for years is term limits. Bring on term limits. Like the only way that we can make change, and this is the great way that being an American is you can vote. You can make change through vote. Every single person has the ability to do that. But you have to actually have people in there who want to make change. Every politician goes in there. I believe every politician has these great ideas. And then they compromise, and they end up not being who they were when they first got in office. How do you fix that? Term limits.
They don't compromise. They become corrupt. There's a difference.
Right. By compromising so much that they give up who they are.
That's not true. They compromise to make money. A lot of them are bought by foreign places that are putting money into lobbyists. A lot of them are bought by corporations for donations. They're not sacrificing. A majority of them are there that they've become corrupt.
Yeah.
And the best leaders in society, they don't want to be politicians.
But yeah, I mean, it all comes down into putting the best people in office who are most fit to do that. And by doing that, like I said, term limits, as well as, I mean, a multi-party system, not a bipartisan system. You don't need people that are voting, just red or blue. Like, vote for the actual candidate. Do your research. Vote for the candidate.
That's a big change.
I mean, that's a massive change. I mean, so are term limits. But you have people in there with new ideas that are going to come in that is how you actually make change. That is actually how you have things moving in the right direction.
You want to know how I think you do it?
How?
Go back to state government.
Well, yeah.
Small government, local government.
But
the federal government
federal
overseas.
Currency is not part of that. Like that's what we're talking so much about.
Yeah, but I understand. But the problem is you would have to get people with some type of business acumen into
right.
Congress, into Senate, and we don't have that. We have we have the losers of society who want power, who are corrupted individuals, who would trade stock on insider secrets, controlling the House.
Because they're career politicians. So how do you fix that?
How do you get
term limits?
Okay, well, how do you get somebody to run? That doesn't fix it. How do you fix the problem? Stop allowing corporations and these and foreign agents and places like that to infiltrate our systems with their money and prop up these broke ass politicians who want to become rich. Bernie Sanders, man, he's a perfect example. Multimillionaire now. We need to tax the millionaires and billionaires. Now he's a multimillionaire. Now he needs to tax the billionaires. There's more examples than that. I mean, shoot, look at the Biden crime family, man. Like, for real, like how many millions of dollars did Hunter Biden get from the Chinese government? A lot, yeah. 31 million. That's a report that just came out. That's a true story. Like, it's just, these people are corrupt and they're the worst in society. You can't fix it with term limits. Term limits will help. I'm not saying it won't. What needs to happen is we need to take the big money out of politics, and it needs to be looked at as a civic duty, which it was designed to be.
Yes.
And we need to elect people within our communities that we know are fit to lead, and then they need to carry forward what we elected them for. When we elected Obama in 2008, ran on securing the borders, a lot of the same ideas that Trump had, but it didn't happen. We need to hold them accountable, but we don't. We don't pay attention. We're fat and lazy as a country. 50% of America is now obese. Like, it's just, it's not, we're not in a good position to be able to do anything of substance and change. And it sounds very negative, but like, hey, an alcoholic has to admit that they're an alcoholic before they can change their habits. A liar has to admit that they're a liar before they stop lying. Somebody who's delusional on reality has to admit that, hey, I haven't been in reality. What's really going on is this, before they start being in reality. You have to admit your problems before you can fix them. And our problem as a country, we need to admit that we're fat, we're lazy, we're comfortable, and we're just allowing things to happen that our ancestors would not have.